Hello, everybody. If you're thinking about moving to Kansas City, Kansas, or Missouri, we're going to focus a little bit on the Missouri side today. But if you're thinking about moving there, or visiting there, or vacationing there, or visiting family there, or whatever reason, or you want to visit Katie there, that would be awesome too. This is the episode for you. We do have Katie Payne of Coldwell Banker, Riley and Sons in Kansas City. More on the Missouri side, like I said. We will get to her in a minute. Say hi real quick before I move on.
Hi, everyone.
This is Want to Move There, the show giving Central Pennsylvanians the info they need to decide whether they want to move somewhere outside of the area. And today we'll be talking about Kansas City. Like I said, I am your host, DerekBicksler, realtor of 15 glorious years. I grew up on the Hill in Harrisburg, went to Mechanicsburg High School, go Wildcats, and went up to Penn College of Technology in Williamsport for college. Have been back here ever since. Had a few sales jobs before I started selling real estate 15 glorious years ago. Call me if you need to buy or sell a house. We still need inventory pretty crazily, and Katie's going to tell us what it's like there in a minute. Call, text, email, throw a rock through a window, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. We still need inventory, like I said, but still it's died down a little bit, so buyers get out there and look as well. And a reminder, whether you're watching live or on a replay, please ask a question in the comments or just say hi to us, and remember to say where you're watching from. We love seeing comments and questions from people, especially outside of Central PA, but you Central PAans, feel free to comment as well. And a reminder that replays are on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, all the places, wherever you want to consume your content, it's there for you. And now we'll get into it with Katie, and I'm going to read some of your bio, but I'm going to let you say hi to everybody once again. Say hi and tell us your favorite, the last movie you watched while I pull up your bio info. Say hi, last movie you watched.
Hi, everybody. It's last movie. Gosh, Free. I can't remember the name of it.
Free Willy?
No. That would be a really long time ago.
Ooh, that new movie with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes, yeah. So I did see that. So it was pretty good. But yeah, don't get to movies too often, especially COVID, post-COVID. Well, I guess we're really not post-COVID, but haven't been to a movie in a while. But that was the last one.
Yeah, that was a good answer. The way it took you a while, I thought you were gonna say like I'd never watched a movie, or you're gonna have to come up with something. But that's very current and could probably hit some keywords actually. So yeah, and I actually wanted to see that. Is it in 3D? Did you say that?
No, we didn't see it in 3D. No.
But it is available in 3D, I think.
Probably.
So Katie is joining us. She's in Kansas City right now, but she grew up mainly in Georgia, but also New York, Pennsylvania. Nice. I want to hear about that a little bit in a second. And New Jersey in her younger years. She went to high school in Atlanta. She went to college at Baylor and Texas A&M for communications. Her favorite color is red, so is mine. I love it. Favorite food, chocolate. Man, you're good here in Central PA. We got Hershey's, everything. So
Yeah.
You got red, good color, chocolate, good thing. Was in PA before, that's all good. You have some pets. You have 4 kids. Wow, good for you. And you are married to Brian. And you like to travel, explore shops and restaurants, and photography. That's awesome. So we heard your favorite movie. So tell us a little bit, something more personal about yourself. Maybe what you were like growing up. Did you do any extracurriculars or anything like that?
I was in student government and did some things like I was really involved with our youth group growing up, but I didn't do a lot of sports. I think I played maybe half a season of basketball when I was little, but when I went down and put the ball or shot at, I don't think I made it, but I shot at the wrong net. I kind of figured out that basketball was probably not in my future. So
there's not much more humiliating than putting it in the opposite goal. I play lots of basketball and I've done it before, and it's, yeah.
The only thing more humiliating is going for it and trying to put it in the opposite goal and missing, because that's pretty, at least if you're going the wrong direction, if you get it, that's one thing. But yeah, so I didn't play a lot of sports, but I do love sports. I love watching football, and that's really probably primarily what I watch the most now. But yeah, I did kind of student government and leadership sort of things in high school, and
like choir or band or anything? Because I know you mentioned youth group, so if you're going to church a lot of people learn that stuff. No.
Yeah, No, I don't even sing in the shower. So, I love music. I love listening to it, but I don't sing or perform at all.
And it was a pretty. I went to a youth group as well when I was younger. Was it pretty involved? I think we went like twice a week, and we would go on missions trips, and then we also go on like just kind of like fun trips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was junior high up through
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah. So I spent my high school years in Atlanta, and I went on a missions trip out to New Mexico one summer. And I remember being out there, and there wasn't really a city. And I've never seen so many stars in my life except for on that trip. I mean, it was just, the sky was amazing. And so, yeah, it was fun. Bus ride for, several days with a whole group of high school students. And it was fun. It was good memories.
And what did you do? Were you like Habitat for Humanity fixing houses or what?
We teamed up with another local church there and kind of did the VBS program for their kids, the Vacation Bible School programs for their children. And so we basically just did ministry with the local church there. So, yeah.
Gotcha. And did you have to we always had to raise money for that kind of stuff or sell something or do something, even though I feel
Yes,
like all of our parents could have just been like, go, but
Yeah.
we're selling
They
lollipops
made
at a
us work
quarter
for it,
profit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember what all we did, but we probably had a car wash or two and bake sales, take food in, and all the families from the youth group would buy. So I guess they ultimately did pay for our trips. It was just a roundabout way.
Right. They want to make you work for it at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And then what about the
Yeah.
student government stuff? So how does that work? Were you class president? Were you treasurer? Is there senates?
So I was I was the student council president. So we had a class president, but then the student council president was kind of oversaw just the class stuff, the whole scope. But it was a very small private school that I was going to, and so anyway, yeah.
Don't downplay it. You were a student council president.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was on your college application, right?
Probably.
So what, you had to be at least a little bit popular, right? Or were there no other contenders or what?
Oh gosh, Derek, that is a long time ago. Yeah, I don't even remember if I may have run uncontested. I do not remember.
Gotcha. It might have been one of those deals where a lot of times on the board and different boards and things, they're like, how do you get on there? You just say yes when they ask you because nobody else wants to do the work or whatever. Yeah. So whoever says yes can do it. So that's fun though. So what kind of duties did you have?
Oh, oh gosh, you're talking about high school. That was just a few.
I like to
years
hear
ago.
about the backstory a little bit. That's what makes you what you are now.
So I think that what did we do? So we didn't have a prom because, like I said, it was a small private Christian school, and we had a dinner instead of a prom. I think they called it a senior dinner or something, and we were involved with that, and we had chapel programs there, so I think we helped out with that too. But yeah.
Is there a
But you're
particular
really causing me to
denomination
reach
that this
back.
school in your church was? Sorry. No.
It was non-denominational. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in all this stuff. So there was no debating involved, because that was going to be, I've interviewed other people where they were kind of, they're still using those debate skills now, and that's how they got into student government. So none of the debate stuff.
No, not really. No.
And did the student council have anything to do with choosing communications in college?
No. I don't know. Maybe it did. In college with communication, I was more on the business communication, training and development, and that kind of track. So, yeah.
So
That's
let's.
funny. I should have probably.
Go ahead.
No, I should have probably spent more time reminiscing back to my high school years. I will say, and I probably should have brought this up before student council, but I was 15 years old and I moved to London, England. Well, it was north of London, but I lived in England for a semester with the family that I babysat at the time to take care of their children. So I went to school in England for a semester, and that was really cool. And that really probably, for my love of travel and being exposed to another country like that in high school, and it was really fun. It was really a neat experience. So yeah.
Where did you stay in
probably
England?
the most influential. So we stayed at the very tippy top of England, almost to Scotland, at Newcastle upon Tyne. There's a university there, and the husband and dad of the family that I was over there with, he was taking a sabbatical from Emory University in Atlanta, and that's where he was doing some work at the university. So I lived with the family there and helped them out with their kids, went to school for a semester, and then came back home. So that was really cool.
What's the landscape there like? Is that like a rolling hills, Ireland kind of thing?
Well, there are places that you can get to. For my favorite place in England when I was there was the Lake District, and it's rolling hills and just really beautiful area. But that's further south than where I was, and a lot of people vacation in the Lake District. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's cool. We have great memories about that. So it seems to me like you got some block on stuff like pre-college or something. So we won't comment on it, but your memory was pretty good. Spot on the England stuff. So we talked about what it's like, the landscape in England a little bit. So let's move it to where you're at right now, Kansas City. And a reminder to everybody that she's on the east side of Kansas, the Missouri side, and right?
I'm actually on the west side, on the Kansas side so yeah.
Didn't we just say the reverse of that before? You're on that, but we're going to talk about the Missouri side?
No, Kansas side. Kansas is really where I spend
so
most
correction,
of my time.
everybody. We're spending time on the Kansas side.
It is very close. In fact, I am I'm about 2 miles. So I'm in my office right now. I'm about 2 miles from what we call the Blue Bridge. And it's the bridge that crosses over the Missouri River, and you are in Missouri on the other side. So it's very close. When I go do some of my shopping, I'll go out of Kansas and into Missouri and out again. And so, it's very, very close to each other.
Yeah. And I know about it. People watching this might not know about how it sits right on the border. So I'm going to bring the map up here, but I was confused the other way. I thought we were going to talk about, but that's fine. So we're going to bring the map up here and tell everybody where it is, because most people have no idea where things are on maps. So here we have our map of the United States, and it's almost dead center of the country. And until I started doing this, I never realized that Kansas was pretty much dead center. So you can see the pin there, and we're scrolling down, and you got the border going right down the middle, like Katie was saying. And we are going to talk and focus a little bit more on the Kansas side, but obviously most of what we're talking about is going to apply to a lot of it, like the weather and the landscape and that kind of thing. But we'll touch on a little bit more of the Kansas side when we talk about isms and military stuff and a few other things that you mentioned. So, and I'm just going to unshare my screen now. So what is the climate like? What is it? I'll give you what we're coming from here. Hopefully it's a little bit better there, maybe. We get like 70 days of pure sunshine here in central Pennsylvania. Today it's overcast. It's usually overcast. It's not terrible weather, but it's definitely not sunny all the time or anything like that. We do get rain a good bit of the time and 4 seasons snow. So what are you dealing with there?
Yeah. So I spent a year in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and so I am somewhat familiar with your area, and it's kind of similar weather-wise. We probably have more sunny days than what you described, but we definitely have the 4 seasons. The temperatures in January, February kind of hover in the low 20s. The summertime can get 90s upward. In fact, it's supposed to be 90 degrees on it's just in a couple of days, which is crazy because that's pretty hot for October. But but yeah, and then we get snow. It's about an average of 16 inches per year, but of course that varies. Last year we didn't have that much snow. Somebody just told me the other day that they read in the Farmer's Almanac that we're supposed to have a cold and snowy winter. So we'll see what that
Did you
turns
say
out to be,
15
but
or 50 inches?
16, 1/6.
16. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And again, you got great
Yeah,
memory
so
on
I'm
that
glad you
stat there.
clarified.
Who knows how many inches of snow they get?
But yeah, so I really like the 4 seasons and just the changing of the colors. We do the leaves. We do get some pretty colors. Probably not as many red leaves as you get up in Pennsylvania, but yeah, it's pretty. We like the climate and like the 4 seasons here. So.
And what about school closures and that kind of thing, and salting the roads, and how when it does snow, are you equipped for it, or does
Yeah,
stuff just shut down?
yeah, they're pretty ready for it. I mean, if there's a blizzard and it's coming in that day, they'll typically close down school. But I mean, like I told you, I grew up in Georgia, and if they even thought snow was coming, or they would shut the schools down before anything happened. And I mean, they were definitely not prepared for it in Georgia. But here, I mean, they'll come out and they'll plow the roads. And so if they miss school, it's usually just one day, and then they're right back the next day. And so yeah, they do miss, but they build, they have snow days into the calendar and stuff, so we're pretty prepared for it here.
Did you guys get freezing rain there? We've always kind of gotten it,
We
but we
can,
seem to get more of it now.
yeah. I mean, we can. It doesn't usually get icy, and it doesn't usually get layers upon layers of ice like you get a little bit more further north, but it can get icy sometimes. So.
And then what do you usually heat with in the houses? You using natural gas or oil or what?
It just depends on, I mean, there's a variety. Like I have a propane tank, and so we use propane gas to heat our house. But there's other places that, have natural gas, and some, their heat just, runs off the electric stuff. So it varies. There's a little bit of everything.
What would be the ideal, like if they're building a new neighborhood, like here, every neighborhood's going to have natural gas, if it is at all possible. Is that the
Yeah.
case there,
Yeah.
or?
I would say so. Yeah. And when you get out into the county and out into the more rural areas where there's the acreage, then those are propane tanks typically. But yeah, and everybody loves cooking on gas stoves for sure. So that seems to be the preferred
Yeah.
kind of stove when I'm out showing houses. People get excited when they see the gas stove.
For sure. Yeah. And then what about air conditioning, or what about the age of the houses? Are we have a lot of stuff from like 1900. Are you back that far?
Well, yes. So I live in Leavenworth, Kansas, which is the first city to be incorporated in Kansas, and we have houses that are easily over 100 years old, and so yeah, there's a variety, and a lot of them have been kept up beautifully, and a lot of them have been restored, and so there are housing areas that are just really, really beautiful. And that's, I mean, and old, but we also have brand new developments and everything in between. But yeah, we have a rich history in the Leavenworth area, so which is pretty cool.
And then what about the landscape? Is it rolling hill? That's we're kind of like England here. Yeah, I mean, you've been to here, but I'm going to keep telling you what it's like here, like you don't know.
That's fine.
But
That's fine.
we've got mountains and hills, but nothing big. It's not Colorado or Vermont or anything. So what's it like?
Yeah.
Well,
So
we all think of Kansas as flat, I guess, right? It's the land of tornadoes or
yes.
whatever.
Yeah. When we told people, as you mentioned earlier, I'm not originally from here. And when we told people that we were moving to Kansas, they were like, Kansas, why are you moving to Kansas? Because people think of just fields of, corn and wheat and very flat. And that is kind of how the western side of Kansas is. But on the eastern side of Kansas and into Missouri, I really think it's beautiful. There are a lot of fields. There's a lot of, farmers still, but they're I think they're more rolling, and a lot of them are treed, and we don't have mountains at all, but we do have rolling hills, and it's really pretty. It's a lot prettier than I thought it was going to be when we first moved here. I was surprised, and of course with the river going through both the Kansas side and the Missouri side, the Missouri River is neat too.
So what are the wild lands like, the woods? What is that like? Is it like we have here? It's just there's no elevation change. But you have the same trees and big tall trees, or is it like Florida where they kind of have a woods, but it's these low things and kind of mangrovey or something? I know it's not that, but
I think it. So our treed areas are more like what you have, but I mean Pennsylvania has taller trees. I think that whenever I go to the East Coast, I always feel like the trees are just, a lot taller. But yeah, we do have, so being a military family, we've been in several places, and we lived in Texas for a long time, and Texas has very short trees compared to what we have, and especially compared to Pennsylvania. So yeah.
Right, you're flat, but it's not a desert landscape. It's just
definitely not.
It's just flat.
No.
You get plenty of precipitation, so there's a lot of foliage and all that kind of stuff. What are your lawns like? Do you have nice green grass, same as we have here, all that kind of stuff, flowers, tan bark? What do you call it there, tan bark or mulch?
Mulch.
Mulch? That's what I just learned this. I did a YouTube video about what's Harrisburg known for or whatever, and I asked in our Facebook group isms. Somebody said we're the only ones that call it tan bark. So this is the first person I've asked.
Yeah, I would have been like, what is that? So, yeah, I did not pick up on that word the year that I lived in Carlisle. So.
Gotcha. All right. I'll keep that in mind. Well, I know that one's true, at least partially then. So what about people commuting? So we know there's no mountains to drive over or around or any of that kind of stuff. Is it easy to commute?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It really is not that bad here. And that's one of the reasons why we fell in love with Kansas City, because like I said, we live in the Fort Leavenworth area. But to get down to Kansas City, it takes maybe a half hour. And the traffic is really, it's nothing like some of the bigger cities. So I really love the size of the Kansas City area. And there's, lots of things to do, but it doesn't just feel huge. And then there are lots of suburbs around that or have that smaller town feel, especially where I live. It has kind of a small town feel, but then we're right next to the city offering. So, and the commute's not bad at all, and the traffic doesn't get too crazy unless you go to a Chiefs game. Then the traffic.
Oh yeah, I bet. Do you go to the Chiefs games?
I went to one. I went to the preseason game this year and watched the Vikings and the Chiefs play, and that was so much fun. It was my first NFL game, and it was preseason, but it was still cool. And it was fun. I'd love to. I loved being in the stands, but I also think that there's a lot of value in being able to watch it on TV and catch the replays and watch. You just can't beat the angles that they can give you on TV. So.
And be warm and comfortable.
Yes, yeah. Dry. Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you have some awesome seats, I'm not going to any stadium for anything. I don't care if it's a football game, a concert, a comedian. If I'm up in the raft, I'm not going. I'm just not going to do it.
that sounds. I understand. We sound a lot alike, like on that, Derek.
Give me a theater all day long. I like the nice washed up musicians on their retirement tour doing all the theaters, or the way up, the way up or the way down usually. But so we talked about the commute a little bit. Highways and roads, what are they like here? Everything's beat up for the most part. There's some roads always being worked on. How is it there?
Yeah, in Leavenworth, there are 3 of our major roads that go through our little town are all being worked on. And so like adding lanes and, just doing a lot of work. So, but, after the winter even if we have just a little bit of snow, I feel like we get a lot of potholes in the spring. So they're constantly fixing potholes here and there. And so they're not, they're not great. They have to do a lot of upkeep because the winters can be a little hard on the roads. But
Yeah, that's usually what does it is the snow. And all of us northern
yeah.
states. I saw somebody post a picture. It might have been Chris from Clubhouse. Somebody posted a picture. How do you know when you're in Michigan or something? And it looked like a
Oh,
Pennsylvania road or probably one of your roads too. And I
yeah.
was like, hey,
Yeah.
don't be busting on our roads. You're driving through, and that's why our roads
Right,
suck. Because
right.
our state anyway, everybody drives
Yeah.
through it but doesn't pay taxes here, so we get the
Yeah.
snow and everybody beats it up.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
widening all these roads and putting new lanes in and everything. Is that to get somebody somewhere special to work, or what are the major employers and industries there?
So in Leavenworth, we have Fort Leavenworth, so it's mostly military. We've got it's kind of when you come to Leavenworth, you almost have to clarify what part of Leavenworth you're going to, because we do have the disciplinary barracks where a lot of people that get in trouble in the military end up at Leavenworth in the prison. So our post is primarily an education post. We've got the Command and General Staff College, which is majors who are getting ready for their field grade time, come and do a year's worth of school. We also have the School of Advanced Military Studies here. So it's a lot of the military members that come through here are here for classes, but then we also have the prison. So we do have a pretty large military police brigade here that does prison duty and that kind of thing. And then right outside of Fort Leavenworth, in Leavenworth, there's also a state or federal penitentiary. And so there are a number of prisons here in the town, but also in Kansas City, there's Cerner, there's Hallmark, there's Black and Veatch, which is an engineer company. H&R Block is headquartered in Kansas City. And then there's a number of hospitals. In fact, my sister's husband is a general surgeon, and he interviewed with some places in Kansas City about coming to work here a few years back. And so anyway, there are some hospitals that pull people in as well.
Yeah, the hospitals are always good, and I think every place, I guess, has the hospital as an employer. But
Yeah.
To have all the military stuff and all the prisons and all the institutional stuff is great to keep everything going. And I was just thinking about, so you have all these colleges and everything here. You were in Carlisle, so you're probably at the War College, right? And you might have told me this before. So does Brian, is he a professor, or what? How does that relate?
He's still active duty. He is still in the Army. He's active duty. And so we came here back in 2003 for CGSC, for the Command General Staff College. And we spent 2 years here then, and loved the area back then. And kind of, we started talking about, okay, when it is time for retirement, where are we going to go? And we really liked this area, like I said, because Leavenworth is a small town right outside of Kansas City. So you have kind of that small town, but also city offerings. And being near a military place, it just felt comfortable. We didn't really want to, as a military family, leave and go to someplace that didn't know anything about the military. So it was just, we felt even then that it was a good place. So fast forward a few
You could come
moves
back
around
here. We know it too.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know. My husband has multiple times said we could go back to Pennsylvania.
We got mountains. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We really do.
So do you have a VA hospital too? Did you say that?
We do. Mm-hmm.
Which I know that's a big thing that especially veterans and retired people kind of congregate around the hospital.
Right, right. It is good to have those benefits to be able to take advantage of close by.
And then in the city, what's the city like? Are there like crafty restaurants and those kind of employers, like lots of like small businesses and that kind of thing in the Sound? And not just in Kansas City, I'm sure there are other smaller urban centers too. Yeah,
so Leavenworth, we have a really cute little downtown that has lots of different shops. They're owned by just some of them are owned by former military or military spouses, and a variety. And we do have some locally owned restaurants as well. But it's a very cute downtown, and they offer different things. Like tonight is Alive After 5. They do it once a month, and you do kind of a walk through the downtown to different participating places, and they usually have a theme, like either a wine night or a beer crawl or whatever. And you stop by the different places and get a little taste of wine or beer, and it's an opportunity for people who are coming in or visiting to see what the downtown offers and to go in and see some of the different stores. There's a leather store that I don't know that they make, like actually I can't remember all that they make, but it's not probably a store that I would go in on my own. But attending Alive After 5, I popped in there and got to see the kinds of things that they make. So the town definitely tries to do things like that to pull people out and get people involved. And they do a charm hunt in the fall, usually the beginning of September to sometime in September, and it pulls in lots and lots, hundreds of people from all around. And it's you go to the different participating stores and pick up a little charm, and then you can put in, they're all kind of Kansas sort of related charms, and you can make a little charm bracelet out of it. So a lot of people love doing that, but just things to engage the area and get people out. And so that's really fun.
That's super cool. I like the charm idea. And I'm sure little girls in particular would love that. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's is that a unique to Kansas or Leavenworth thing?
I haven't heard of other towns doing it, but so yeah, I do think it's kind of a unique, and then they've done it for, I don't know, probably 15 years now, and they do it every year, except for maybe with COVID. I think they took that year, 2020 off, but they did it this year. So
yeah, that's awesome. Are those like committees you could get on? I feel like I've been on home tour committees here and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always say yes as well.
Yes.
So we started talking about it a little bit, and I want to ask about barbecue. Barbecue, is that a big thing in Kansas City or no?
It is. Yeah, it is a big thing. So, there's actually, here in Leavenworth, there's an opportunity to go to a smoking class, and my husband did it about 10 years ago, and it kind of, so now he knows how to smoke meat, and it kind of, once you learn and do it at home, it sort of makes it hard to go out to other restaurants, and because you're so spoiled by doing it yourself. But yeah, it's very popular and tastes good. We love it. We love the Kansas City barbecue, and we've been in Texas and on the East Coast as well, and we particularly like the barbecue from here.
Is it the way you cook it, or is it the sauce?
Yeah, I think it's the way you cook it, because here, at least the way my husband learned how to do it, it's using a dry rub as you smoke it. And my husband's philosophy and the way he was taught is that you really shouldn't have to drown it with sauces, because if you have to drown it with sauces, then you've done something wrong with the meat. And so, we don't eat a lot of sauces on ours personally. But
I agree. I would like, even with wings, I prefer to get them crispy with the sauce on the side, because I want nice crisp, and I can I can paste as much sauce as I want on it, and it doesn't get all soggy. Right. And I'm with you on that. A lot of times, and that's like 1,000 more calories too. They just all sugar. Yeah. So that's awesome. Right. So what's the smoker like? Do you have some giant thing or a small version, or there's all kinds of contraptions you can get, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of kind of. So we have a kind of a custom made one that was actually made at the disciplinary barracks. They have this store where they make metal, wrought iron, different kinds of products like that. And it's a job training sort of program that they have there. But so we bought this smoker from there, and you give them the design of what you want, and then they create it. But so we have this huge, very heavy thing. And for anybody who's military watching, they know that when we move, we have a limit to how much we can carry with us in our moves. And this smoker takes up a lot of weight. So that's the only downside to a big smoker, is they're heavy and they take up a lot of your weight that you are allowed to move. So.
Are you allowed to move your own stuff like outside of that? That's just
Yeah,
what they'll
you
move
can.
for you?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can.
Because some
So
people
you
have
put
one that like takes up a whole trailer.
Right. Yeah. They should just strap that on, like get a hitch for the back of their car and just tow that at that point.
Yeah, totally. What about sauces? Does everybody like, do you guys have your own sauce? Or do you just buy
You
that kind
mean
of thing?
like my family? Like, do we?
Yeah,
No.
you.
Well, no, we don't. We will buy some if we're using sauces, but yeah, like I said,
Do you
my
have a
husband's
favorite
kind of
one?
anti-sauce.
Oh,
No,
anti-sauce. So like no
no.
sauce he likes.
He does. Yeah, he's not much
I
into
thought we were talking
sauces.
minimal
So.
sauce. So he likes just rub and it's just the meat, no sauce.
Yeah, and then
Gotcha.
well,
All
and
right.
they add juice. He adds juice into as they're cooking, and so I mean it's pretty juicy on its own if it's done right. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's good. I'm not doubting the goodness.
yeah,
I'm just trying to clarify. So what do you? You eat it
you
sauceless too?
yep.
So there's just no barbecue sauce in your refrigerator right now.
Probably not.
Wow.
Nope.
All right. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, even if you eat it sauceless, you would think in a big barbecue place, you'd still
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
sauce. All right. I want you to report back. I bet you there's one way in the back, some stubs or
I will
something with
check.
like half an inch left. It needs to be thrown away. All right.
I'm
So enough harping
there's
on the
no doubt about
barbecue. There's good barbecue with little to no sauce on it in Kansas City, and which is good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. I would like the less
You need to
sauce is
come
better,
visit,
I think.
Derek, and if you come visit, we'll make some sauceless
Nice.
barbecue for you.
Nice. I will take it. So what about like a stadium? Obviously the Chiefs, you have major sports teams there. If somebody's going to see, I keep saying Justin Bieber every time I ask this question, and I need to get somebody else. What if they wanted to see Boys to Men in their heyday? Where would they have seen them?
Well, that probably would have been the AT&T place, which is not called that anymore. But since you're talking about Boys to Men, then it fits. um, yeah, there's a couple different places that they'll have concert venues, and yeah,
And what about
and the
airports?
power.
Go ahead.
Our airport is amazing. There, it's probably the fastest airport to get in and out of, and that was honestly one of the reasons why we decided we wanted to stay and retire here in the area, because you can get in and out of the airport so quickly, and it goes. Obviously we have flights everywhere, so it's that's one of the selling points for us when we were deciding to move here, is that the airport is super easy to get to, and really kind of centrally located to any place around the Kansas City area. So yeah,
Yeah.
we really
And
like
then
the
what
airport.
about, so it's easy to fly somewhere for vacation or whatever travel you're doing. What if you're driving for a vacation?
Yeah.
Could you drive to a beach somewhere?
I
Would
so
you?
this summer I decided I needed some beach time, and so we could have driven to Texas, but to get in Texas you have to go further south to get to the nicer beaches, and I didn't want to be in the car that long, so we went to Florida, and we went along the 30A highway, and we were right outside of Panama City is where we ended up, because again, I didn't want to drive. I think it was about 13 hours to get down there to the beach. And we did that this past summer. What we didn't know, and we learned on this trip, is it takes, so most of the rentals in Florida rent from Saturday to Saturday. And so we were driving back home on the Saturday, and the traffic was terrible getting through on our way back home, just because everybody leaves. So it's getting out of there with a little crazy just with traffic, but it's not bad. It wasn't too bad.
And what
Get to
about
the beach.
a driving vacation or like a long weekend or something like that? What would be the go-to
So
vacation?
there's Lake of the Ozarks isn't too far, so you could get to some lakes around, and you can get up to something I've been wanting to do is go up to Omaha to the zoo up there, and that's not far. So there's definitely, and Colorado is about 9 hours from some skiing. So during the winter, it's not far to get to ski slopes. And we have a tiny little ski slope just north in Missouri, just north of us. And it's not anything like what you have or what Colorado is, but people do go out there and ski. I don't ski personally, but yeah, there's a little hill, so people can get out there, and it's kind of like a bunny slope one of Colorado's bunny slopes is what I would liken it to. But there's definitely places that you can get away for the weekend and do some fun things.
And I'm guessing they blow snow at that place. That's the only way you would have enough. Yeah. Same here. We do have a place here 20 minutes from me, but it's sheer ice. Yeah. And then they blow.
What is it? What's it called?
Ski Round Top. Round Top Mountain Resort now that the conglomerate bought it, but.
Okay. Yeah. Because my daughter, when she was at Carlisle, the middle school there, they had a little ski, like they would go and do ski trips. Like during the week, they would take the kids and have them go on one of the little mountains there. And so that was really cool. We don't have that here. We don't have little ski trips from the schools here.
Yeah, I look at that fondly. We didn't have the big mountain stuff, but it was good enough that those of us that wanted to ski and liked to ski, we had an opportunity to learn how to do it. And we always took Vermont trips too, like the ski club took a trip, and it was, one of my favorite things and a cool skill. Who doesn't want to slide down a hill? I stopped for a long time, and then I had to quit again because of my knees, but I stopped for a long time and then I started again. And I was like, why would I stop doing this? This is so much fun. Yeah, that's awesome. So what else to do? What are we missing? What are lakes, kayaking, creeks, fishing, hunting, anything I'm fishing, any of those things?
There's definitely places to fish around and hunt. Hunting's pretty popular too. There's lots of places that lease out spots to hunt for deer, and so that's pretty popular. We have a lot of ponds, so for fishing, if you know the folks, it's always good to ask if you can fish if it's a privately held pond. But yeah, there's a lot of outdoor things to do, and
better to ask than to get one of these after you. What are you doing in my pond? And you mentioned the Ozarks. How far did you say the Ozarks are?
I think it's about a 3-hour drive from here.
Okay.
To get
I bet that's been
at least a portion
lot
of it.
More. Yeah. What is the Ozarks? It's a bunch of lakes or what? Or is it one lake?
I'm not even totally. There's definitely different areas. So I'm sure they're probably all connected in one way or another, but there's different portions where you could go to, but
places where you can hide dead bodies, I guess. I think, right? I haven't watched the show, but
the show. I know it's definitely.
It's probably super popular now.
About it now. Yeah.
Just like Nashville was doing okay, but as soon as that TV show started, it blew up. So that's fun, and that show's still going, I think. So that's what. Whenever a show starts, we should go buy property. Whatever, if it's a popular show, wait till like the second or third season when it's good.
Well, and if it's all about dead bodies, I don't know. That might not be a huge selling point.
If they're buying and selling property, I don't. It should be on the disclosure if they said something about it. Yeah. So what are people going to get for the money? Not a dead person house in the Ozarks, but something in Kansas City. So here, average house, let's say $300 to get kind of your starter single family detached home, probably a 2-car garage at that $300 mark, 3 to 4 bedroom, couple thousand square feet on a quarter-ish acre lot. How does that compare to what they would get there for that? Or what is the starter home price?
So in the Leavenworth area, the average home price is about $200, and it's about what you described, except for maybe not with the extra acreage if you want to, or the bigger lot. But I would say about 300 would get you the little bit bigger size lot. And we since we're still kind of, there are in the county area, properties that have some acreage, and that depending on how big the house is and the condition of the house, obviously, and how many acres, but that's upwards of the 400 area when you get up to the acreage size. So.
And are there HOAs a lot? Sorry.
There are but they're not very high. I mean, the HOAs in my area are actually pretty low, and when you get closer into Kansas City, the HOA, those fees climb, and taxes climb some, and it's just like everywhere else. The closer you get into the city, the prices go up some. So
sure,
but yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Go ahead.
That's one of the reasons people like this area, because you can get a little bit more for your money up here because you're just a little further away from the city. So, but we're
do
seeing
these HOAs have? Go ahead.
The area is growing right where I am. There's people who are moving a little further out, and there's a town south of here called Baylor, and it's really seen a tremendous amount of growth from people moving just a little bit west of the Kansas City and the immediate surrounding areas. And so, and we're seeing that some of that growth filter up towards us in the Leavenworth area as well. So,
what'd you say, Baylor? Like with a C?
Mm-hmm. It's B as in boy, ASEHOR. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Huh. Area to look out for.
Absolutely.
So what in the HOAs are they gated? Are there pools and spas and golf courses, or what are the HOAs like? Here there's none of that for the most part. There's a couple of new neighborhoods that have kind of like shops and things in them, but for the most part an HOA is mostly only in like a townhouse community where they're taking care of the roofs and the lawn and snow and stuff.
Yeah. So there's a few neighborhoods that have pools. There's one neighborhood that's down more in the Baylor area I just mentioned that does have a golf course and they have a pool. But most of them up here have, the minimal annual fee, and it's basically just to control, the height of your lawn and whether or not you're parking all your toys out in your front lawn and the color of your house and that kind of thing. So they have some regulations for the neighborhoods with that. But there are some neighborhoods that don't have HOA, and there are definitely people who look for the neighborhoods without the HOA. They,
they're good for the most part.
Be told.
They keep the rules are good. You don't want your neighbor painting their house pink or having 30 cats. Yeah. Usually that's one of the stipulations. You can only have so many of certain animals, and sometimes certain animals
you can't.
No roosters.
That's one of the ones. Yeah, they don't want roosters on there, at the crack of dawn, making a lot of noise in the neighborhood.
Yeah, totally. That's they're cracking down on that here. So up and down now, most of our municipalities allow chickens, not roosters, but you could have chickens. But now they're going to crack down on that too, because now it's become a kind of a fad, and everybody wants to have chickens in their backyard. Yeah. Now, like, everybody has chickens in their backyard, so it's become kind of a nuisance. But so what is we talked to 300, maybe get you kind of that starter home that everybody pictures in their head. Mm-hmm. What does your luxury market look like? What do people move up to, second or third home or whatever?
So up here, you're
so here I would call our luxury market starts at like 750.
Yeah. I would say about 4 to 450. You see a jump in the quality and but that has jumped in the past year with the way the housing market's gone. We've seen that increase as well. So, all the prices have gone up. But.
Same here. I would have said 500 maybe a couple years ago as our kind of that's
Yeah.
where the luxury market kind of
Yeah.
starts. But now it's pushing the 6, 7. Like I said,
Yeah.
750 is probably where I would quote to people as the luxury market.
Yeah.
So how much would they have to spend to get like an acre, 3-car garage, custom built, that kind of few thousand square feet?
Um, Up here in, you know, not talking about closer to Kansas City, but up here, right now, I would say 5 to 550 with a little bit of acreage on there. Yeah. But
Gotcha.
um, yeah.
So if somebody had $1 million to spend, what would they be looking at getting?
Um, well, I mean, you could definitely want something with some acreage, and so some of in this area, you know, if you were interested in a barn and some outbuildings, it could get you something like with that, and obviously, you know, a home with some nice furnishings for that. So we don't see too many of that here. You definitely need to go a little further down towards Kansas City to get into that price range. There's just not a lot of it here. But.
And then closer to into Kansas City for $1 million, is that like a condo in Kansas City? Is it that kind of market in that
Nah.
metropolitan area, or it's
I
still
don't think
kind of a suburban built house,
Yeah,
maybe an older
yeah.
house, but fixed up? But
Yeah. Right.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then our last question, which has nothing to do with real estate at all or anything. What would you do outside of this profession if you could do anything else? Would you lead a youth group
Oh,
again?
goodness. No. I have just
Well, don't say
raised
that
four
so
children.
quickly. Say no, maybe not. I would like to, but I would probably choose a different path.
Yeah. No. I have raised 4 kids. I'm not. I don't think that going back to a youth group thing is. So you know, So I stayed at home for over 20 years raising the kids, and I had that opportunity to do that, and so doing real estate. I mean, it's right now it's hard for me to picture doing anything else because I'm just loving doing this. I haven't done it for very long, and I've only been doing it for a little over 2 years now. And so it's hard for me to picture doing something else because I really do love this. But so I guess falling back to what I thought I would do when I was in college and before I got married to somebody in the military and we moved around a lot and had our children, I loved the idea of going into some of the bigger companies and their training and development programs, and just in working with employees and trying to foster that culture in companies, and that's probably what I would want to do now if I wasn't doing real estate.
So you want to do human resources at a giant company at Google?
Well,
Not that big?
When I hear human resources, I just think of all of the like laws of human resources, and that's not so much what I'd want to do. The more the people side of things, but it's probably good that, because with the people side of things, you still have to cover all the other stuff, and I'm not sure I'd really be all interested in that side.
The bigger the company, the more rules and bureaucracy there is too. So maybe you just need to start your own 501c3 and just help some people. It would be nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. Well, let's bring your information up, and how about you read it aloud so anybody that might be listening in audio format later can get your phone number and email address, etc. So I got your information up there, but read it aloud for everybody.
Okay, you can reach me at my cell phone number, call or text at area code 808-722-6041, or you could email me at katie@katiepaynehomes.com.
And I'm going to leave that stuff up there for anybody watching, and it'll be in the description, up or down, or whatever you're watching and listening on. It's somewhere around you right now, or you can just Google Katie Payne, Kansas City, or is it Leavenworth better to connect you with?
Either one. Leavenworth or Kansas City. You can find me if you do Kansas City. Yeah.
Okay. And you can sell stuff in Missouri too. You're licensed on that side as well.
I'm licensed in both. Yes. Yeah. I definitely am licensed in both. So.
And if you need to sell your house here first and then have me connect you with Katie to find the area there and know what area. I was talking to somebody that's moving to Myrtle Beach, and he's like, do I even want to live like in Myrtle Beach, or should I live outside of Myrtle Beach? And I said, well, let me connect you with somebody good down there, and they can help you. And maybe you want to stay in an Airbnb for a month or two or something to figure out exactly and see the traffic patterns, yada, yada. Or maybe get a job there first and then know where you're actually going to be. So plan it out. Talk to Katie. Call me if you need to buy or sell your house, especially if you need to sell it and move to Kansas City or Leavenworth or anywhere around there. You can call me, text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. We still need inventory, and it's a little bit better for buyers. And I'm all blurry now, and I'm not going to fix it because we're going out. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. I'm back. Clear. See you later, everybody. Say goodbye, Katie.
Bye. Thanks, Derek. It's been fun.